Hi friends, welcome to the 9016. On today's episode, I have talked to an old buddy of mine, formerly known as Kevin Dollars, currently now known as Kevin In Luv. He has a new track out tomorrow, will be on all listening platforms. Tomorrow, actually, for me today, being a Thursday, is out on the Friday 25th, which will be a couple of days earlier than when this is released, so you guys probably would have had a listen by now. It's a great new track. I love hearing songs from this guy. He's a very talented musician. The bassist for the Jackberry band. Some of you guys might know him from that platform as well. He's a great friend of mine. We had a really good chat. I had a really good time. Please welcome Tane Brooks.
Home Audio Entertainment.
9016 Radio.
The show for artists of all kinds.
Sit down, relax, enjoy the music.
Kind of like we are, and they were just commenting on what happened in the podcast of Joe Rogan's podcast, and I thought that was a fucking weird
There's a podcast
little cycle.
Is it? This might be the same thing, but there's a podcast called the Joe Rogan Experience.
Maybe I didn't see the name. It's two kids,
Oh, two kids.
not kids, but like teenagers.
Yeah, right.
And they sit there, and then once that podcast is done, they're commenting on what was said in the podcast. And I thought that is weird.
That is weird, and that's exactly what that other one is.
Because he's essentially commenting on someone else's, like, let's say he's talking about the news or something, or someone's life, or
Yeah.
We're
talking about him talking about the news.
Yeah,
yeah, that is odd, and that's exactly what this other podcast is. When I started listening to podcasts, I didn't realize that Joe Rogan wasn't on Spotify.
Yeah.
So when I went to go find it, I found the Joe Rogan Experience. So I didn't realize it was the Experience. So I started listening. I was like, oh, this is not Joe Rogan. It's just three guys talking about new episodes of the Joe Rogan podcast.
It sounds like it must be the same people.
It's just like, I don't think they were kids though. I think they were actually adults. But it was
my God,
what, like,
I
don't understand the point to that.
Yeah,
what are you actually achieving?
It's kind of like Twitch at the same. Like, I just signed up to Twitch. Have you got Twitch?
No. What do you use it for?
Honestly,
gaming
like
or for
watching gaming. There's this guy called
right.
Spell that I came across on Instagram. He's just like makes beats, and obviously there's like Kenny beats and stuff like that. But I kind of watch some of them, but not that many. But this guy called Spell, he's a New Zealander, and he makes like, it's almost like 50 Cent, like kind of Scott Storch kind of beats.
Dr.
It's
Dre.
so sick.
Yeah.
And he pops on and just, he gets like fuck all streams and all that sort of stuff. But I don't know, it's sick. But it's weird watching someone else make beats.
Right.
And they've got like
all this fucking gear.
Yeah, I don't know. It's odd. That's a really odd way to like consume something.
I think though with that, it's a bit more interesting, especially for someone like you that does the same thing. It's just cool to watch someone else if you're a fan of how they make music to be able to see what they actually do. And I get gaming as well. You're sort of watching, depends what you're streaming, I suppose.
Yeah.
I haven't watched a lot of live stream stuff. I think the only things I've ever watched have just been like gaming stuff. I didn't realize people did that, like Mate Meets Live. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, it's pretty sick. You should go check out the Kenny Beats one, because that's like a good place to start.
I think I haven't seen any of his live stuff, but I've seen him, like his stuff he does in the booth, whatever that is that he does. Yeah.
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
Yeah.
I think that's sick, because it's like, I feel like it's, if that was on TV back in the day, you'd switch to that channel and it's like a TV show essentially.
Sure.
And there's no big dude, like executive over the top being like, you need to do
this. It's so interesting how like we feel like going live and streaming things is such a new concept, but it's actually been around forever. Like the news was always live.
I think it's that whole access thing to it.
Yeah, definitely. That's
anyone
so true.
Can do
anyone
it. I mean, look at this.
Yeah, absolutely.
So
I don't know if I could do this live,
Live. I was wondering if you were going to do them live.
Number one,
pretty scary.
I don't really know how.
Yeah,
that's the first thing for me is figuring out how to actually do it. There'll be some whole other tool that I'll need to do it, and especially if I start incorporating video, that's a whole nother fucking.
That's
thing.
possible though.
Definitely doable.
Twitch and shit like that. But.
Yeah. I presume sites like that make it easier, but it's just, I think it is pretty easy, but. You know, because it's just me running the show, if I do have a couple of cameras, you know, I want to sort of be able to switch between views, which means I'm going to have a whole other thing here. Yeah. And I'm going to have to be doing that myself. Like, I don't want to have to switch, like, in the middle of a conversation. That gets a bit tedious. So
you forget. And then
you're
just watching some person that's not talking.
Half an hour, just like nothing. Yeah. I mean, I'll get there. I could just have one camera, like, there set up. But I don't know. I figured out it's a money thing as well. Like,
Totally.
I've already paid for so much of this gear. It's just
Yeah.
like,
Let's just take a chill pill
yeah,
for a sec.
exactly. Yeah,
Really feel like a cigarette right now.
you can have one if you want.
I stopped smoking.
Oh, true.
Yeah. And I'm
Okay.
like craving it really badly.
Yeah, I've been having a few recently.
Have you?
Yeah.
Cheeky ones.
When did you quit?
Probably a month ago now,
Yeah.
I reckon. But I've been like on the nicotine gum,
True.
and it's so good because it stops you smoking completely.
Wow.
But now I'm
I've
like,
never actually spoken to anyone that's used it before. I
Oh,
don't
really?
think. What does it just take away that feeling every time you
it's
crave
like
one?
a
You just have it.
constant, yeah. But now it's to the point where, because I'm like super addictive personality kind of
Right.
thing. So cigarettes was just like
Bam,
fucking
bam, bam.
churn them through. Man.
Yeah, I remember when you started like
Yeah.
really smoking when we lived
Yeah.
together. You just
Yeah.
went with them.
Took off, man.
Fuck.
Be like 10 a day, I
Yeah.
reckon. And then,
Jeepers.
yeah. But I've stopped and I started vaping, and then I spoke to you about that the other day. About, what's his name? Tom.
Yeah.
And
Yeah,
that
known
podcast that
about
freaked
it
me
all.
the fuck
Yeah.
out. If you're listening, Tom.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
that's I think a wise perception that he had on that. You know, it's such a new thing. We don't really know a lot about it.
Mm-hmm.
So how do you really know if it's good for you or not? You know, cigarettes have been around long enough for us to be like, yeah, these definitely
They're
do
shit.
this and this and
Yeah.
this, because you can see people that have done their whole life, whereas vaping,
Yeah.
you can only see people that's done it for the last 5-10 years. I don't know how long
Must
it's been
be.
around for, but yeah,
When he said
Fair
he'd
enough.
been doing it for 3 years, and then I went for a second, I thought, fuck, I've been doing it for like just over a year.
yeah,
And I feel like shit. I was like, I'm not going to get to that place.
Yeah.
I'm not going to be 3 years down the track and go, fuck me, I'm addicted to vaping.
yeah, for sure. Because the problem with it as well is that you end up actually having more nicotine in your vape
Yeah.
than you do a cigarette anyway. So you're basically
Yeah.
actually going a step further into it, you
Yeah.
know, which I always found interesting. And I think that's one of the weird things about why it's such a trendy thing. If people are getting nicotine, like people are starting to vape with nicotine in the vape juice when they haven't smoked before.
Yeah.
It's like,
Yeah, I know heaps of people have done that.
it's just one of those weird trends, and kids like it because it looks like they're
fruity
smoking,
and-
but you're actually probably doing more harm through that than you are actually smoking.
Yeah.
Of course, not the smoke inhalation side of things, but there's a whole, again, other unknown side of it that it's like.
Yeah.
So with nicotine gum, is that actually like giving you nicotine to satisfy
Yeah.
that craving? So you are actually.
There's nicotine in it.
Yeah, right.
Somehow. I don't know how the
I
fuck
know
they
that's
do
a
that.
stupid
Yeah.
question, but like it seems it's the same sort of thing, I
Yeah.
suppose. So you're just getting a little bit just to go.
So it's like,
Do you eventually phase out of the gum as well?
well, that's the thing, but I mean, that's the place I'm at now.
Right.
It's like, I want to phase that out. Because then you're off. You're done.
So how do you do that then? You just
I think I start
must
buying
just-
normal gum.
yeah, right.
'Cause now
True.
it's- now
They're
it's,
not like a placebo.
Yeah, so now it's
True.
like, that's what I'm addicted to.
Right.
And you could look at it like, my vape juice was like 3 milligram or whatever. So it was fucking low. And I kept bringing it down and down and down, and then got to 3. And the gum is like 2 milligrams. So essentially,
Right.
I'm still taking in pretty much the
Less,
same amount
yeah.
of nicotine, but
Slightly.
I'm not smoking anymore. There's
Yeah.
no smoke inhalation.
I think that's the big part of it, isn't it? Just getting rid of the smoke side
Yeah.
of things.
And my
Yeah,
lungs
breathing
feel
it
like
in.
great.
Yeah.
And like, yeah.
Do you do
breathe
any
way better.
exercise as well? Do you do?
Fuck no.
Fuck no.
I walk everywhere. I don't drive, so I walk everywhere.
True. Do you not have a car anymore?
No, no. What happened to it? My head gasket blew,
Oh, Jesus.
and I don't know anything
Christ.
about cars.
Nor do I, but
Fuck,
it
nothing.
doesn't sound good.
And it blew, and you know that place on Carroll Street we had? It sat there. We went away for New Year's for the gigs and stuff, and then I came back probably like a week into January, and I was like, holy shit, my car's still sitting outside this house I don't live at anymore. So I should go and get it. And I called every wreckage place in the city, and none of them wanted to take it. And I literally got to the point, I was like, have it for free. And they were like, no, I don't want it.
So what? Because of what was wrong with it, or just because
It
the
was
model
just-
of car was weird?
Doesn't matter. They're just not interested. They don't care. No, half of them didn't return my calls. They didn't return emails. One guy called back and said he'd take it for like $50 or something. And at that time, I had a guy on Facebook wanting to buy it for like $800. So I was like,
weird.
yeah, I'm going to risk it with this guy.
Yeah, fair enough.
And then he never called me back again. So.
Well, I don't. If I remember the car correctly, it wasn't a very common car. It was probably just one of those things where like, what the hell are we going to do with this thing?
It was a
they're just going to be passed away
91
forever.
Daihatsu Charade.
It's
92 or
that little hatchback.
fucking
thing,
nana
wasn't it?
car is the definition of it. And it was great when it
It
worked.
looked so massive. In
Yeah,
that thing.
yeah. And I literally couldn't
I
fit in it
remember
because
that
my
now.
legs were so long. So like
That's so
getting in
funny.
and out was just horrible.
Oh, dude. Yeah, I remember that. That's so good.
So I eventually sold it to some kid who was just lost his license to a DUI for $100, and for about a week he keeps sending me pictures of what he'd modded up the car. So like he put this fucking massive exhaust pipe on it and like these crazy rims and shit, and then he put this massive big gear stick like that big, like huge, and it was like almost went up to the ceiling of the car. I literally had to message him and be like, stop sending me this.
He's probably paid for those items like 10 more what he paid for
Yeah.
the car in the first place.
I know.
That's so funny. So
And-
did he end up fixing the bit that
I have
was
no idea.
broken with it?
He stopped messaging me.
I wonder if
Which
he
is
just
great.
modded it like for looks or whether he
And I've
actually did
never
for,
seen
like,
it again either.
It'll pop up.
So,
You'll just see one dude drop.
oh, fuck, man. It was so funny. I couldn't believe it. I thought about my nana and I thought, Jesus Christ, if she
Yeah.
saw this, she'd fucking
Should
flip.
have fit. Yeah, I'm trying not to drive so much. But
Yeah.
I'm finding there's so many instances where I just need to drive, or like it's definitely laziness. Like I could walk to work every day if I
That's a
wanted
big
to.
walk.
It's not really though. It's
Is it
like
not?
10, 15 minutes.
Oh, there you go.
It's really just down the road. But like I think over summer I should start doing it again. But just over winter it's like no,
Yeah, fair.
not walking in the cold.
Dude, I get up for work at like 6 a.m. and when it's like winter and I'm coming down like the hill of like Queen Street kind of thing,
Mm.
it's like almost impossible to get down. Or it's fucking freezing.
Possible to get down because it's like slippery.
It's
Like
icy.
Yeah.
Black ice as well, so you can't see it.
True.
There's just like one street that you cross, I have to walk across, and it's always icy. And it's one of those ones if you just lose your legs and slide down the whole thing
Jesus
if you
Christ.
fucked up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How was chef life?
I should be
Assume
careful
still
what I
what
say
you're
because
doing.
it's possible that my boss is listening. It's quite possible that he could listen to
That's
it.
all right. We can cut this bit out if you want.
Um,
but I'll ask you.
It's fucking tough, man.
Yeah.
And it's something that I hate doing a lot of my time. I spend, well, in the past before COVID, I was probably spending like close to 50 hours there a week. And the money was like incredible. But it was only because I was
big
working
week.
so much.
Yeah.
And it's fun and exciting because there's lots of shit happening. And once you're like in the groove, it's fine. And you know everyone there and everything's sweet. But it's brutal. You leave a room and people are like, fuck that guy. He's a fucking dick. Like, he's so
Whoa.
shit. And you'll even be like,
to you specifically or just everyone?
anyone. I reckon they probably talk about me as well.
Yeah.
But if I'd be stupid to think that they wouldn't, you know.
Sure.
But like, and like I'm involved in it too. Like, fuck it. Like everyone does it. It's just this bitchy hospitality sort of sector, and it's
Right.
horrible, man. It's toxic.
Yeah.
And you'd even be 2 meters away from someone, and someone's like whispering, like, "Fuck that guy! Like he's a fucking dick!" Like,
Jesus.
Yeah,
Do you
it's
think,
horrible.
Like, I presume most of the people that work there are young people.
no, half and
Young,
half.
like,
There's lots of older chefs.
yeah.
So like some of them are in their 40s, and
Okay.
then there's some in their 30s, and then there's the young guys, which is like me, and like maybe the youngest is like 19 or 20.
Okay.
So like it doesn't go too far below that.
Have you worked really anywhere else other than hospitality? So you haven't really got.
Oh,
like,
I've done
another
odd
workplace?
jobs, but
Yeah.
nothing. That was my first proper job.
Because this is not the first time I've heard about this sort of stuff about hospitality.
Oh, I could. Yeah.
So many people that
Dude,
I know
I used to
work
get
in
fucking like bullied and shit, and
that. Shit.
a bit invited. Yeah, it's crazy. It's a crazy environment. But then the thing is that the next week it's fine, or the next day it's fine, because people just move on. Like gossip, people just move on.
Because it's
gossip.
a pretty stressful environment to be in.
Yeah.
Like a kitchen.
Yeah, and especially if you're spending 40, 50 hours there a week, you see it more than your own home,
Right.
essentially.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, it's a big week.
it's all you know, really. It's all you talk about.
Right.
And I'm pretty glad that I have hobbies outside of work. I have things I do outside of work. I have friends that aren't involved in work.
Right.
just so that I can go there and talk about other shit, or just do other
Actually
things.
just get out of it.
Because dude, some of these people there, they work 40 hours a week, and then they so like say they start at 11, they finish at 8. They'll stay there until midnight that night drinking and hanging out with people from work and talking about work and shit. And it's horrible, man.
Not a vibe.
But aside from all the gossip and shit, I've learnt heaps from it, and it's fun. But yeah, I don't know. I'm trying to get out of it. I think anyone that joins hospitality is trying to get out of it, really.
I think some people really thrive in it too. Like I think if
Totally.
you're actually
It's made
a chef,
for some
it's
people.
probably, like I know a few people that are like, love putting the work in, putting the hours in. They just get something crazy out of it. I personally can't see myself doing that sort of work. I feel like it's too close and personal, like in many aspects, like in regards to like just. I get a bit weird with the concept of serving people food.
Yeah.
I just can't. Like, there's so many things that could go wrong. It's because I work in retail, so the difference being like you're selling people products rather than selling them something that they're going to put in their bodies.
Yeah.
You know, like
Yeah,
it's
definitely.
quite a different thing. Something that they're going to eat. You really have to get those things right. I feel
Yeah.
like I would be quite stressed, like being, especially like a waiter and having people. I feel like you have a bit more people. I get perhaps complaining and that sort of. This is just purely like what I presume it's like. I don't actually know what it's like, but you know, people complaining about their food and it's not done this way or that way. I feel like that would be fairly stressful.
Yeah.
Do you find it's a bit like that? I suppose you haven't really had much work experience outside of hospitality to know sort of what it's like, but
I guess like, it's all muscle memory. Like, especially in a place like that, it's not fine dining or any shit like that. It's you show up and everything's the same essentially. 90% of it is all the same as yesterday and the day before that, and it will be the same the next day. So you can literally set things up so that you can do things blindfolded.
right.
And you can remember things every time. You don't have to look at recipes and things like that.
Right.
Nothing changes and everything's the same. And that's great, and it's also kind of boring. But
That
you
repetitive-
can't fuck up,
Yeah.
let's say chicken, where you can make someone really sick.
Yeah.
That's probably, I've been there for almost 4 years and it's happened twice in the
Oh,
restaurant.
really?
So, and that was like human error, like,
Sure.
yeah. So it's hard to do, but then, I mean, you could get into things like steaks and things and how
Yeah.
people like,
I stress myself out cooking chicken, dude. Like I still triple check and cook it like 20 minutes more than like I probably should. Not that's an exaggeration, but you know, I'm like really certain about it, so I could never picture myself cooking food for other people like
someone
that.
told me once, one of the chefs I used to work with said that not all chickens have that salmonella thing, or like not all of them can make you sick.
Oh, really?
I don't know how true that is or whatever, but
Well, that's interesting because I have seen, so like sushi is raw fish, right?
Yeah.
I've seen like
Oh, the
sashimi
sashimi.
with raw chicken on it. And I had to think, well, how is that even possible? That could tie into what you're talking about. There
Yeah,
must be a
it must be,
particular
right?
kind or part of it that doesn't, might be the age of it as well. It sort of reaches
be.
a certain point and it doesn't have it. That's so interesting.
well, I could say it's just fuck that.
Yeah.
Yuck, man.
No, you can pay me to eat that. I
Yuck.
can't imagine it would taste good.
What would the taste be?
Like handling
You know, raw.
poultry
You know,
on
the
its
smell
own.
of raw chicken. It's disgusting.
Not good.
No,
No, not yummy.
can't
at
imagine
all.
the taste is very good either.
I mean, like seared or something, maybe.
Yeah.
But just raw chicken, you can just tell by handling it. Like if you pick up a piece of salmon, like bang,
Yeah,
easy, it's clean. Like
Yeah.
you could definitely see yourself eating that. But a raw
Yeah.
chicken, like picking up like a drumstick, raw, no.
Oh, yeah.
Like
all the juice and
you know what I mean?
Yuck,
It's
man.
always so. Yeah, there's always some liquid in those packs, bro. Not good. But
Gross.
that. I suppose that is Japanese food, though. Like a lot of their cuisine is
Yeah.
really just
Lots of raw
raw
fish.
animals and random creatures.
That's
and
the
bugs,
best
that sort of thing.
type of food. Not that raw stuff, but
Yeah.
like Japanese, like Asian, anything Asian is
100%,
incredible.
100%.
Incredible.
Have you eaten anything like super exotic in that department?
I don't think so.
insect
I don't think
anything?
I've ever eaten anything like. Well, I've never really travelled out of this country, to be honest.
Nor
I've
have
only
I.
been to Australia.
Yeah,
Like,
exact same. Yeah.
I'd never been in a position where I'm like on the streets of Thailand or
Yeah,
something. There's
yeah, that's
fucking
true.
cicadas and
I
things.
just always wonder if I would actually eat some of the things that you see at those places. Like
I've had ox
crickets or
tongue
like,
before. and I had to peel. Oh my god, I had
Jesus.
to peel the. So I don't know how they cook them. This is a long time ago. They cook them, and so the skin of the tongue falls off. So there's just the meat underneath. And if you imagine, no shit, if you imagine a human tongue being like 6 inches long, that's what they look like. And it's identical in feel and like everything is the same. And I had to peel the skin off it. It was fucking like just horrible.
You have to do that as part of eating it. Like you have to actually.
Oh no! This is just like prepping it for.
I see.
One of the chefs,
right.
but oh man,
I didn't realize there was like a skin to the tongue.
no, neither.
That's so interesting. You kind of feel like it's just one bit of flesh that you just cut into.
It was like.
Did you try? You've tried some of it.
I think I did. It was a long time ago. It was a couple of years ago.
What could you compare it to?
Chewy. It was just chewy, and probably pretty flavorless. You know.
Mm. That doesn't sound appetizing.
What a horrible thing to make people eat. No one name one person that's like, I hope they have ox tongue tonight at this restaurant.
It's just nothing
or like,
about
fuck
it.
I'll get the ox tongue.
Oh, God, fuck it, I'll get the ox tongue.
No one.
The only time I've seen people eat stuff like that is in game shows and like Fear Factor and stuff. Like I haven't actually seen anyone have that on a menu and be like, this is like a delicacy or anything. It's like, and then you start to wonder, is it like actually a safe thing to eat? But I suppose it's just more meat. Like it's just another meaty part
It's
of
like
the
anything,
animal,
isn't it?
Oh, God. Like just because the amount of things that the tongue can do, like all the taste buds and stuff, and just the maneuverability, like just doesn't seem like it's something you would want to eat in the first place.
Just by the feel of it, like it had the weight of a tongue, and it looked like a human tongue, and that's what fucked me up, man.
That's the weirdest part of it.
Yeah.
It looks like something that you have.
Yeah.
No, thank you.
Yeah. Gross, man.
Oh, Kevin. How are you anyway, man?
I'm good, man.
Yeah.
I'm busy.
Keeping well?
I'm fucking busy.
Music busy?
Yeah.
Cool.
But like not necessarily like my music as well. Just like, well, we've just started doing the booking thing.
Yeah.
So that's
True, I was going to ask you about that.
far out. Far out. It's been,
Blow it up.
yeah. Well, yeah. We kind of have to do it for ourselves, which is
How did that fall on your lap? Did you offer to start booking
literally,
things?
me and Damo were going somewhere one day, and we were just talking about how like, and we've always talked about this, not this specific idea, but like people doing things within garbage and creating little subdivisions of it, you know, like maybe it's Riley and he's doing some sort of video thing with his team or whatever, and if he had a team or, you know, like starting up a little startup business.
Yeah.
And we've talked about that forever. And then one day he just brought up the booking thing. He was just like, fuck, man, I wish someone within garbage would do that.
Right.
And I was like, yeah, it's a cool idea. Like, sick, like, whatever. Went home. And then I was out for lunch with my girlfriend the next day. I was like, motherfucker, like, I could do that. Like, I could, and fucking live off it too. You make good money off booking.
That's a
gigs.
weird realization, when you think, fuck, I could actually do this full time.
So I looked into it and I had, spent about a week thinking about it. And I said to Dam, I was like, fuck it, I'm in. Like, sign me up. And we had like a little talk about it and kind of just went our separate ways. And what did I book first? I think I booked the three-quarter marathon show at Dive.
When you say went your separate ways, what do you mean specifically?
Like, he just left me to it.
Oh, I see.
Yeah.
Yeah, right.
I
didn't,
you know.
didn't part ties with it.
No.
Right.
And I just left him to it. And
Yeah.
I'm having deja vu right now. It's really weird.
Cool.
And so I started booking people that I have close contact with.
Of course. Easy ones to get you started.
Yeah, three-quarter.
So three-quarter, yeah.
And I was like, look, I'm starting this. Do you guys want to play a show? And Damon had already told me they wanted to play. So I was like, let's do a show at Dive. And then literally
Was this sort of post-lockdown, like that
Was
level
it?
1 period, or was this like way earlier?
It actually must have been, yeah. It would have been.
Because we would have just, like, would you have been booking anything sort of around New Year's period?
No.
Okay,
This
so
is just, this
would have
is
been
really
just
recent.
This year,
Yeah. Fuck, I don't even know how long ago now. And it must have been in that time as well. We booked it, and through like a set of 3 different emails, I'd kind of sussed out etiquette and like how to talk to people and like what my value is as like someone who's played gigs as well before, and like how to make the musician's life easier, and like letting them trust me is like a huge part of
Right.
that. So like, let's say Scotty's like, I want to play on September the 12th or
Yep.
whatever, and he just leaves that to me. Poster's done. Damo's going to do that. We'll set up the event. We'll take care of the money. We'll book everything. All you have to do is literally show up.
That's
I'll
awesome.
tell you what's happening, but
Yep.
like, if you want to know, some
That's what
people
you
don't
need,
want to
eh?
know.
Fuck yeah, that's so what you need.
So it was great, and I loved it. I enjoyed doing it. So like, it wasn't work for me.
yeah.
It was
So you already had sort of connections, I guess, with places to like when you could book venues and things. Was that pretty easy?
my
Did you use people,
connections
or-
to it were like, I knew when festivals were going to be on during the year.
Yeah.
So like, I knew roughly when, or like I knew to think about, I'm not going to book a gig in Auckland on the same day as fucking Laneway.
Yeah,
Or
for
something
sure.
like that, you know?
You see that got cancelled.
Yes, I did.
Yeah,
I'm pretty gutted
Bit of a
about that.
shame. Kind of makes sense though, I think, in a way.
But then why
Save
is
some money.
R&B going ahead?
Because it's fucking R&B. No,
Dude, that's like double the amount of people that are
yeah,
going to it.
crazy, eh? I mean, this is obviously, of course, under the presumption that we're going to still be in level 1 at that
I
time.
think it's going to get cancelled.
Imagine that, eh?
And I wouldn't be surprised at all, and I think people should be prepared for that.
Yeah, definitely.
They were fucking, their merch is a face mask. That's fucked. Why would you be selling a face mask if everything's okay and you can put on a music festival for 17,000 people?
Fuck, it's already like a trend, eh? To
That's
be
not
like-
a fashion statement.
But like the fact that they've put it on there, like, well, it depends why they've put it on the shirt. You know, if they've gone like, it's mask season, like,
Oh no, they've made masks.
they've
Yeah.
made actual mask.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry, I misunderstood.
Yeah.
Oh, right. So they've made R&V masks.
Yeah, with R&B on them. If that, I
Jesus.
shouldn't be talking shit about R&B. I love R&B. That's bullshit though, I think, because I think for one, the only thing I've noticed about R&B, and I've been keeping a close eye on it, is no one's even saying like it might not happen.
Right.
It's like, this is happening and be ready for it, regardless of whatever's going on. Like Auckland's still in level 2.
Yeah.
You know, like, and that's nothing to be like laughed at. There's still people getting cases in New Zealand.
Well, that was the thing. I didn't realize that for so long. Like during level 1, we were still getting cases
Yeah.
every day. Granted, they were imported cases being isolated and everything, but like I had stumbled across the COVID Instagram page and had seen the
They have
last
an
post from like
Instagram?
the week. Yeah, that Unite Against COVID-19.
Right,
It's a
right,
page,
right.
and you could go on, and like the last 10 posts were just like, right, 5 new cases yesterday, 3 new cases today, and this was when we were in the previous level 1.
Yeah.
I was like, oh wait, what?
Yeah.
When did this happen? But
Yeah.
there was just so many people coming in all the time that had it. They just, and as long as it wasn't community stuff, they weren't telling anyone. And that's the weird thing about it, is that it's still here. Like we didn't really eliminate it. We just sort of got rid of active cases, but they're still coming in. Like people that are isolating, they still have COVID. I think that's something that we're sort of looking
Yeah.
over. It's like we haven't gotten rid of it. Like there's still a few people sitting in hotels waiting for it
Yeah.
to sort of subside, you know?
Yeah.
And what's stopping someone from sneaking out and doing something? And I don't know how those
Like,
facilities are run. But
Effectively, I think, and it's so funny to listen to people talk, like the Prime Minister and stuff. She's always talking about like, you don't want to be like half a foot in, like you want to be like all the way in. It's like right now, and I get you need to like run the country and stuff, but we could actually be one of the only countries that gets rid. I don't know if any other countries have gotten rid of it completely, but
I think some countries have done very well. I haven't
and
heard
probably
or seen
similar to
firsthand.
us.
Yeah,
I imagine.
exactly. Yeah,
We could actually, we're a pretty small population. We could actually do that.
Yeah,
and shut it
definitely.
down.
definitely.
And
Well, I think this second time round, now that we've gone back into a level 3, level 2 scenario, and now we're back to level 1, and really what was a really short period of time kind
Yeah.
of proves that method does work.
Yeah.
And I think obviously a lot of other countries have seen that happen as well. But that's just like when that happens twice, it's kind of like this method obviously works. Like even if it wasn't a full-on lockdown this time, just the fact that we could, if we quickly take action about it,
Yeah.
it does make a difference,
Yeah.
like pretty rapidly.
I think there's a few like mistakes that were made, I reckon. Like I feel like South Island should have had a completely different separate thing going on.
That's what, yeah, I feel the
Auckland
same.
should have been in level 4 that whole time.
Yeah.
Level 3 is a piss take. And
Yeah.
I mean, people like were really good. Like the people I kind of follow on Instagram, like my friends in Auckland, were all really good. But
Yeah.
there was the odd one that was like, I saw this video of a friend of mine at a skate park, and there was probably like 20 people there.
Mm.
It's like, that's not isolating.
That's not
And
right at all. Yeah.
It's taken the piss for us down here.
Yeah.
Who are no cases forever.
Yeah, and that
Or
was
phrases.
the thing this time. I think the first time around was a bit different because we sort of didn't really know where it was to sort of
Yeah.
pinpoint. So it was like, right, whole country's doing it.
Yeah.
But then this time around, obviously, we just seen cases in Auckland. I mean, at the risk of sounding arrogant, wouldn't you just stop all flights between North
Yeah.
Island and the South Island? Like, how else would you stop it getting down here? Stop
the ferry.
the ferry,
yeah.
stop the planes.
Shut
like,
down South Island.
how hard
And then
is
you've
that,
got
you know?
all, I don't know how many people live in South Island, but
Yeah,
you've got all those people who are completely free of it.
yeah.
And that's that.
And it's not saying like we're better than them or whatever, but it's just like we're still one country. You want to stop the spread,
Yeah.
you can literally cut the spread in half.
Yeah,
like
you could.
you know. But that being said, of course, if you're a business like Air New Zealand or Jetstar or whatever, to cancel all your flights is obviously I don't even know the state of what they're looking like at the moment. But they
Probably
obviously
pretty
took a massive
shit.
hit at the first one. But
Dude, they've got money. It's in New Zealand. They're not poor. This
and,
is
th-
what's
and they were one of the
fucking-
first things to get grants from the government
I know.
as well. Yeah.
But they were doing lots of good work and bringing in all the, food and
Yeah.
stuff like that from
Yeah.
other countries. But, dude, Air New Zealand's not going to go broke. Small businesses are going to go broke. Not,
I mean, think about how
Mate,
much
everyone
it is
did
to get a
really good
flight
there.
from here to Auckland for one person.
Yeah.
Times that
I
by a
know.
whole plane load, and then times that by how many planes go in and out a day.
yeah.
Yeah, they're pretty good, eh?
Yeah, they're pretty sweet. I'd love to know actually how much it costs to take the two pilots and the plane down to the other end of the country and how many times they do it a day.
Well, that's the
and what
question,
their
eh?
profit is on that, because
Yeah.
it would be incredibly
That's
big.
the thing, because I wonder if they are actually like profiting immensely because of what. When you're looking at the prices, literally, not in comparison to anything else, if you're looking at the prices for what they are and how much a business is worth, compared to how a smaller business would look, is the percentage of profit actually way larger alongside those high prices? Or are you just looking at like how a small business looks on a big scale, if that makes sense? Like, are you actually seeing, like, say, you get something from the dairy they buy for 50 cents, they sell it to you for $1.
Yeah.
You know, that you see how that's growth and
Yeah.
you see what the company's actually having to buy to keep the business up. Is it the same with airlines? You know, does it actually cost a shitload to get a plane up in the air and across the country, or not? And are they out just pricing these things for the luxury that it is?
I think it's kind of like university, like you're paying for the professor. So,
Right.
like you're kind of paying for the pilot that's not going to kill you. They must see the expensive part. They must get fuel for some sort of discount because they take so much of it. They must have some
yeah.
sort of deal.
Shit, yeah.
They're helping every city that they fly to. So, I mean, they must get some sort of cut on making the airport.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think you're paying for the pilot probably and just the luxury of flying.
They must have been pretty good wages too, I'd imagine.
Yeah. They should
Yeah.
make electric planes. That'd be cool.
Yeah, but it's like electric cars, you know. Great, you have something that doesn't use fuel, but, you know, how big of a battery would you have to fly a plane, you know? It's going to be insane.
Yeah.
And I wonder how often planes, like, I don't think they're like cars where you have sort of tons going to the scrapyard every week. I don't think that's the same with planes. This is based on nothing, but, you know, I feel like if you had electric planes, that's going to be another cost on its own. And depending on how many planes break down or get thrown out, however often, the size of the battery or engine or whatever in that plane is going
Yeah.
to be a huge, like,
Yeah.
e-waste thing again. you
Yeah,
know?
true.
In theory, yeah, that'd be great. But
I saw this thing on Vice this morning. First thing I woke up and I looked at my phone. This is the first thing I saw. It was really strange, so it might be a bit blurry.
we need to be.
There was this company. It was the main guy from Vice, the guy who, you know, whatever his name is. So you know it's like an important doco. Would you say? But he sits down with this these people that are removing carbon from the air, and it was incredible. They were making all these like crazy, like wild things. Like we can completely remove carbon from the air when like presidents and leaders and all that sort of stuff when they want it.
Right.
We can do it. but it's just we need to make like 10,000 of these plants, and then it's done. It's all over. And they said that they can turn carbon from the air, which they suck in through these fans, into fuel so that they can put them back into cars, like normal fuel. They just combine it with chemicals and stuff. You should look it up.
Jesus.
Yeah.
Car-
So these guys, they have big fans, like massive big fans, and they suck the carbon out of the air, combine it with hydrogen and water, I think it was. I think it was something like that. And this is a real dumbed down version, obviously, but...
Not the carbon neutral fuel, but
That
carbon
sounds...
engineering, extraction, maybe.
It was real recent, so it should be that guy in the middle.
That one?
Yeah.
Fucking Facebook.
I was blown away by it. I'm real interested in that sort of stuff, eh?
Watch. Yeah, fuck yeah. We'll watch a couple of minutes. If I've done my mixing right.
Can you hear it?
No.
Here we
Oh,
go. You can
there we
watch
go.
this anyway.
Hang on. Technical difficulties. I forgot to change my import source.
Oh, right.
Cut this out.
Crazy though, eh?
So, explain it to me again. So
So they
they're
set up...
taking carbon out of what?
They can take the carbon out of the air just the normal air, and they can turn it back into, they combine it with other chemicals and turn it back into car fuel
Right.
So that they can just-
the emissions that are already emitted.
out there.
Yeah.
You can bring them back in, recycle the emissions and turn them back into fuel.
Energy.
Here we go.
You're hitting the nail on the head. We would like people to be recycling their fuel in the same way as they recycle other things.
Your technology is we're going to refine that energy, that carbon out of the atmosphere, combine it with hydrogen and water, and then that's the same as gas or jet fuel.
What?
Yeah,
Yeah, man.
yeah, it's chemically the same. No pollutants.
So you don't
So,
have
for
to change
example, our
anything.
diesel burns completely clean. None of that black smoke you see from trucks when they go up hills.
Right.
Completely clean. But yeah, it's chemically identical.
That's crazy.
that
So
like
this
a
is our
trailer?
plant. Great to have.
Fuck, that's,
Yeah.
that's the idea, though.
Yeah.
Damn.
But they were saying, it goes on to say, like, this one professor or whatever he is, he's like, it's almost like kind of annoying because people are going to take that and go, oh, well, we don't need to stop. We can stop driving. Like, we can just keep driving as normal.
Oh, yeah,
and there's no
true.
issues.
Yeah.
There's no fucking climate change here.
Right.
These guys are just going to fix it. Which is exactly what humans are going to do because that's what they've, always done.
That's it, man. We're just looking for the excuse. Like, it's
Yeah.
ignorance. Ignorance is bliss, right? Like, if you
Totally.
oh, God.
But wouldn't that be cool?
That's it. A
Yeah.
neat thing on its own, but
Yeah.
it's like, once you have that solution, like obviously sounds like the future,
Mm.
but how do you implement that into something that is worldwide and does that in itself make
Yeah.
more problems because you need the right tools
Who
in the
owns it?
right places? Yeah, exactly.
making
it's
money?
another business
Is
again.
that guy
you know?
making money?
It's ridiculous.
Yeah.
Man. That's why we're never progressing because someone has to own something and someone has an idea that's going to change the world.
Yeah.
But what needs to probably change in the world is the fact that we need to stop being selfish and
Yeah.
stop profiting off things like that.
Yeah.
But that being said, in the short span of time that we are here on Earth, if you come up with that,
Yeah.
to be
Pretty
able to
incredible.
do that, you probably want a wee bit of
Yeah.
cash
Bit
from
of
that,
something.
something that'll live
Bit of
pretty
cash.
nicely if that does blow up. And that's just the nature of being human,
Yeah.
It's just ironic.
Far out. We'll never get anywhere, honestly. It's nice, though, to know that there's something out there.
It's nice to know that there are people there that have the tools and care enough to really do
Yeah.
something about it.
Actually
But
spend their days doing it.
call me a pessimist, but I just don't see anything dramatically happening that's going to change climate or the way that we live in
Yeah.
our lifetime. Like,
No-
there'll be
no
things
one's
like
gonna
this that
stop
prop up.
driving.
Like,
Yeah.
is this going to be a discussion that we have, about that Vice thing? Is this something we just talk about now and we go, oh, that's pretty cool,
And then that's
we never hear about it again, or is that actually going to take off? Because
Yeah.
how many times in your life have you heard about something like that? Like,
Yeah.
oh, they're working out how to fix such and such,
Yeah.
or there's this new thing that will do this. And
Yeah.
you go, oh, that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
And then
Nothing. You
never
just
hear
carry
about
on,
it
it's
again.
normal.
It's just one of those cool things to observe.
No one
We
really
never
cares,
took that.
man. I mean, people do care. I take that back. But no one,
Majority.
I don't think you could name anyone you know that is like zero emissions. They are fully sustainable.
Yeah.
And this is the kind of way we need to live if things like that aren't getting invented, you know. It's like you don't eat meat, you don't drive, you don't use plastic in any sort of the way. You recycle everything. You get food from the land.
Yeah.
Like,
and that's the thing, like, that is such a dramatic lifestyle change for most people. And again, like you say, super unrealistic to expect anyone to seriously live like that.
Yeah.
But, like, I believe in doing the best that you can.
Definitely.
I don't look at anyone negatively because they've used a plastic bag for doing this or whatever it is, or eating a piece of meat when they say they're vegan. Like, who gives a shit? Like, you're mainly doing that thing. If you have most of that ingrained into your lifestyle, you're probably fine. But you know, you're on the right path, I should say.
Yeah.
But for the world to really change and to a point where not just like we get better, but we actually have a different way of living and change how the world actually operates. If everyone works like that, oh man, I just have a lot of thoughts on this. So
yeah, go.
Like, I think my point is, what I'm trying to say is, realistically, we're not going to change the world, but the idea I think that's being pushed is that if you can just do that, like do your best and do it consistently, you'll probably see a reduction. You won't necessarily see a change or a stop, but it'll stop that what do you call that fucking on a graph?
Incline.
Increase, we'll say, you know. But that is the expectation that you should go vegan or you should go fully plastic free or you know have no waste of any kind. It's just unrealistic. And like, we're so ingrained in the way that we live now and have been for centuries. You know, we as humans, I think we've grown to like luxuries. You know, that everyone loves having things for themselves that they like and are nice and are luxuries. To take that away from everyone, again, is really unrealistic, because we're always going to come back to those things that are set in us, you know, like that we're always going to slip back at some point. Like, it's a human nature to be selfish as well, you know, like it's in everyone to, like, look what happened when COVID broke out, right? You know, everyone's saying, don't buy all the toilet paper. Yeah. And that's the general, like, trend thing to follow and do, you know, or say to people, if you're sort of that, if you have that kind of mind where you're attuned to the environment and all that sort of stuff. But people kept doing it. No one stopped doing it, because when you're there and you go, oh, well, I'll just get another one for me. I'll just do it.
Why not?
Exactly. You know, like what difference does it make for me? Exactly. You know, and that's just in everyone. As soon as there's something like this where it's like, holy shit, there's a virus out there. Go and stay in your house because you don't want to get this thing because it's going to kill you. People freak out, and all of those values just fly away for some people. They just go, oh, fuck it, I've got to survive, so I'll take everything that I need. Humans are just crazy. Like, it's no surprise that the world is going down the shitter because of us, you know? Like, look at us. Look at what we're doing. Like we're not going to change.
We can't organise anything.
Definitely not. It's nothing that is going to change, at least in our lifetime. In our lifetime, in the terms of, like, the world, the time that the world has been around is very short. Like, obviously, there's dramatic increases over the last couple of decades, in the last even years and months. Yeah. But, oh, God. There's no solution either. Like, that's actually probably a silly thing to say. There are solutions, but they're unrealistic solutions. Yeah. That just really aren't ever going to be followed.
Yeah. Well, it's like that thing, the carbon thing. Who's going to actually... What president or prime minister is going to go, you know what? Fuck this. We're going fully green.
Yeah.
Well, I think Germany's planning on doing it. But
a lot of European countries
quite a big country.
Stuff like that. I think Sweden too.
Oh, yeah,
some sort of
right.
system.
And they're like the best country in the world or something.
They're pretty good for a lot of things, yeah.
I want to go there one day. That'd be cool.
That would be a really cool place to go.
Yeah. I was supposed to go to Germany like in January next year.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I was saving up for it.
Wow.
Go to Europe and stuff, but...
Just for a holiday?
Yeah. Well, just to go, I don't know.
That's weird to think that you might not be able to do that
ever, yeah.
Like,
Ever's a possibility.
Not just for
Why
another
not?
couple of years, just you might never be able to go overseas again. Or you know,
crazy.
if you do go overseas, it's not it's not, you're going to have to suit up. You're
Yeah.
going to have all the equipment. You're going to have to seriously, it's weird.
Yeah, I don't see a time where like it's going to be, not in the near future, where it's going to be fine. Although in saying that, there's this girl I used to work with who is in Greece right now, who was just living in London for a bit. She's now off in Greece on holiday. Like nothing's wrong.
Right now.
Yeah, right now. She's just like driving around Greece on motorbikes and shit. And so like
So she was allowed to fly
Yeah.
out?
Yeah. What? Weird, eh? So there's things we're not hearing, obviously, but
Yeah, for sure. Well,
and everyone's trying to freak us out. Like, you can't travel.
yeah.
You can't do this. It's like,
Yeah.
well, they're fine. It's
Yeah,
also
but-
the mentality over there is probably
Yeah.
really bad. It's probably like,
Yeah.
yeah, fuck it, man. Go do whatever you want.
Surely there must have been some exception in that case, though, to let someone just fly out. Like,
Yeah.
obviously, if we're in level 1, we can sort of do what we like, so
Yeah.
to speak, within the country. But still, surely you'd be saying to people who are actually leaving the country, like, you realise what the world is going through right now. Like, you sure you want
Are
to
you
go
sure?
to Greece right now? I don't know. That just seems odd. But there were definitely a lot of things like that we didn't know about. Like, I didn't realise there were, like, one thing that I was skeptical about for ages during the lockdown was, like, obviously, I side on both sides of this argument, which sounds ridiculous, but I believe that if say I was in like Australia at the time we went into lockdown, as a New Zealand citizen, I would want to be able to get home and
Yeah.
and be with my family and be safer.
Yeah.
Right. But my main thought was, why are we still letting people in the country? Like, why are we still letting
It's
overseas
literally
people
how
come
this
into the
got out of
country?
hand.
You know, it's
Yeah.
just like, that was such a tricky thing and probably such a hard choice to make as the government
Yeah.
to go, right, we don't want any more people coming in here because we know this is how it's getting into the country, is people coming from overseas where it is prominent. We don't want any more coming in here.
Yeah.
But New Zealand citizens technically have the right to be in their own country, you know?
Yeah,
so it's
definitely.
like, oh, God. And it's weird to think that about the isolation facilities as well. And it's so weird to come up with like rules and things for something that is brand new and we don't know about.
Yeah.
Like,
No one knows the answer,
no
man.
one fucking knows. And
that's what's
why-
funny to watch
Yeah. and
about
it's-
how everyone's dealing with it.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And the scariest part about it all, probably not so much now that we know a wee bit more about it, but at the start, we weren't really a mask-wearing country.
Yeah.
But now, this time around, it's like, yeah, if it breaks out again, probably the main thing we'll be asking to do is wear masks. So, like, what if... Because there was a lot of talk at the start of our lockdown where people were saying, don't wear masks because you're actually, touching your face more, et cetera, et cetera. So my mindset was like, right, not a mask wearer, that's a silly thing to do.
Right.
And now we're being told to wear masks. It's
Yeah.
like, again, no one knows. I'm not blaming anyone, but it's like, what if, we've been told information about this thing that was actually really bad because it's so new. We don't really know what it does. So what if the government goes, okay, well, seems as though this is at the moment is currently something that is doing some good, so we better all do it.
Yeah.
And then just makes it 10 times worse.
Yeah.
That's a scary
Imagine
thing.
being
to
the
me.
person telling everyone
Exactly,
what to do.
bro. Fuck,
You wouldn't know
man.
what leg to stand on.
God, who would want to be the prime minister right now, or president of any country? Like, I'm sorry, but Jesus
There's
Christ,
no gain in it
the amount of
whatsoever.
stress you'd be going through right now, and like the old mate, what's his name? The health.
Fuck. I was going to say Daniel Bedingfield, but that's... What's his name? Daniel Bedingfield. What's his fucking name?
Oh my God, I feel awful for not knowing.
Oh, poor guy. Oh, well.
We all know who we're talking about. The health
Missed the
minister.
guy on the TV.
Oh, for God's sake, what's his name?
Doctor...
Is he a doctor?
Shows how much we fucking care, really, eh?
Oh no.
That's
What's his name?
bad.
Ashley Bloomfield.
That's it. See, Daniel Bedingfield. They're kind of similar. Oh my God.
Ashley Bloomfield. Man, he had to take like a holiday because he was like, fuck. This is
See
too
how much he's
insane.
getting paid and stuff like
Have you seen how much he's getting?
that? Yeah. Have you
No,
seen it?
no.
Someone came out with the stats of it. It was like, I could be a bit wrong. It was a hazy memory of it, but
In
it
the
was
ballpark.
like hundreds of thousands of dollars. He's the director of health or whatever. it
Yeah,
is.
that's it. He's the director.
He's
not
getting
the
paid
doctor.
fucking heaps, man.
Yeah, fair enough too. Fuck,
At the
I
same
would-
time,
I
we were
would hope
looking
to
up
be.
how much Jacinda was making as well, and it was
Shit.
I think it was like 400 and something thousand a year.
Yeah, it seems very
It's a
right.
pretty good pay cut for
It's not
for
bad.
4 years.
Not bad.
Yeah.
Fuck, like, you'd want to be, you know, if you're the health minister. I think, I don't know if this is true, but I think one of the things that, like, the leaders did, including the Prime Minister and, like, the Financial Minister, they'd taken some pay cuts throughout it as
Yeah,
well.
I heard that.
Which I thought was quite good. But I don't know how much, you know, it's like, they
Did
tell
you
us
have to
it's
do
a
any
pay
of that?
cut, but, like, apply for any of the...
No, the fucking pay cut thing. Did you do any of that?
Did I do any of
Yeah.
it? Did I take a pay cut?
Yeah.
No.
I had to.
No. Did
Well,
you
not a
really?
pay cut. I lost some of my annual leave. My annual leave would pay
Oh.
for a day of my work. So I just shat away heaps and heaps and heaps of annual leave.
Right.
And it was like a moral thing. They were like, hey, so we've paid you for all this time. Now we're offering that you guys return the favor and you don't have to do it, but it's a good thing and everyone else
So
is
you'd
doing
already
it.
been paid like you regularly would, like your
Yeah.
employer had the
They were getting that thing.
Yeah, but then it
Actually, they weren't getting it, but we were getting paid annually.
right, so they
'cause
were just
you
walking
know.
out. Yeah,
But then they asked us to take the pay cut, and it was such a moral thing. I wish I didn't do it now. Because who
Well-
cares? No one cares. No one's going to give me a pat on the back. Like,
that's so interesting though, and kind of makes sense, but kind of doesn't, because as an employer, obviously this is something that's affecting your business,
Yeah.
and you're not getting income anymore for the most part. To expect your employees who are really in the same boat, like this is an unexpected turn for both parties.
yeah.
It's a tough one.
Yeah.
I
It's
don't know how I
weird.
feel about that.
No. I think it stopped.
I mean,
think it
is
stopped now.
that even? You know,
What's that?
we've
Oh, is
we've
it
paid you
even?
for this time. Now we expect you to
I mean,
us to pay you, like you to pay us rather. Like that doesn't
I'm
really
paying
make
myself
sense.
effectively out of my own annual leave.
Yeah.
So it is my money, but I'm also losing 8 hours of work or whatever it was.
You know, I didn't realize for so long that leave was actually money getting put aside to you.
What do you think it was?
I was having this conversation with one of my employees the other day, and this is what I said to him, and this was with the knowledge that it was just like a number that was accumulated, right? Like there was no money set aside for me, right? So I said to him, okay, so say I take, what did I say? Say I take a holiday, right? Now say I have 100 leave hours, and I take 20 of those leave hours. No, what was that? It was about applying for leave, I think. Yeah, that's right. Okay, so I was like, why do I have to apply for leave? Apart from me not being at work, what is the difference between them having to pay me leave hours versus my normal hours? So like, you know, why did it have to change anything for the employer? The only difference is that I'm just not at work and they're just paying
Yeah.
me regularly. That's
You're
how
right.
I thought it worked.
Oh, true.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I get that.
And this is, of course, still with the knowledge, not with the knowledge that there is money actually being put aside to
Yeah.
equivalent those hours. But I was like, I don't understand why I have
That's a
to.
good
Why
point.
can't I just say, can I be away for 2 weeks? And they'd be like, sweet, and they just keep paying you.
Or they promise you that. Or maybe
Yeah.
they can't promise you that. They can't say, look, we're going to give you 2 weeks of holiday a year and we're going to pay you throughout that.
Yeah.
What's the point in storing that money? Because eventually, actually, they're losing,
Yeah.
really.
Because like it depends. It's obviously circumstantial. Like, and in my situation, for example, there's 6 or 7 of us at a team, maybe 5 or 6 on us in the department on a given day. So realistically, me not being there doesn't make too much of
Yeah.
a dent in the thing. So in my case, I was like, well, what are you guys doing differently? You're still paying me as you usually would whether I'm there or not. That
Yeah.
was my theory, and that's why I couldn't understand it.
Yeah.
But then I obviously found out there's actually money being put aside, and I was
Yeah.
like, oh, okay, right, I have to apply for that to be given to me, which is also a weird concept because it's technically
It's yours.
mine as well, you know. I don't know. It's weird.
I don't
It's a
get
weird
that shit,
system.
man.
I don't know.
It took me ages to figure out, too.
Yeah, I just took it on the chin. Didn't look at my paychecks for ages. Didn't want to look at the numbers. And oh my god, I'm being taxed this much and that. I
Yeah.
just looked at the money coming in.
Right.
That's all I needed to know, and just knew I had this many hours. And it's
Yeah.
it's a weird thing.
Fucking hell.
So, new track out tomorrow.
Oh, yeah. True.
Yeah.
I didn't even think about that. I forgot. I've been doing so much other stuff, I forgot about it. Yeah, man, dangerous.
That's exciting.
It's like a lockdown song, I guess. I've heard that term before.
Yeah.
So like people calling it like lockdown albums or whatever. But it's a lockdown song.
So it's a song you made in lockdown or a song
Yeah,
about
completely.
lockdown? Yeah.
No, fuck, not about lockdown. No, anyone that does that is fucking banished from music. I tell that
It's
back.
so
There's probably a cool
unoriginal,
lockdown song out there.
Yeah, there'll be something. But yeah,
Fuck.
the concept is a bit ironic. Like,
Lockdown, we're so. Shut up. Shut up. It's too literal and it's too.
it's too relatable.
And it's probably the title is probably like shut away or like locked down or like
Yes, shut away.
shut the fuck up.
Just slightly change it.
Just like take that time and I don't know. It was I loved that because the day after, so I don't even know what day that happened, the lockdown thing. It was like a Tuesday or Wednesday or whatever. I
think you're right.
I finished work at like 3:00 because we had to shut the whole place down within like 10 minutes or whatever.
Really?
Yeah, it was pretty buzzy.
Whoa.
Yeah, we were just like,
It
so
wasn't
we
like end of day,
we
it
were
was just like
working and it
lockdown.
would have been what, level 2 or something. I don't even remember. And we were like constantly on our phones throughout the morning, and no one had come into work for about a week. So
Right.
we're standing there doing nothing effectively anyway. And someone comes in and it's like, this is at lunchtime or whatever. It was like, shut the restaurant, everything's done. And we were like, what? Like
Someone came in, like,
one of our bosses was
Oh,
like,
okay.
shut the restaurant, you're done.
some
Like,
random dude
you
just
guys
walks
can
up in a suit, like, right,
shut it.
shut it down. COVID's here.
Sorry, man. No, yeah, and then I went home at about 3:00. I had a beer with my workmates. I said goodbye. I'll see you in a very long time. And then I went home, and the next day, for about a week and a half straight, I reckon I wrote probably like 9 songs.
Damn.
And it was incredible. It was the first time in fucking however long I've had nothing to do. And I'm sure that's for everybody. And especially like, I feel because I work 40 hours or whatever, and then I come home and make music. And I spend most of my time doing it anyway. So, and it's not a chore, it's, I like doing it. So to have an entire day, an entire night, and then that for however long lockdown was, it was like, just do whatever I want. It was incredible. And I made, probably like 9 songs, I reckon. Some of them are
It's
shit.
pretty impressive.
Yeah.
Like, to me, that's a lot. Like,
Yeah, it is. It's the most I've ever done. And some of
you
them are
got all your
shit,
time to commit to it, eh?
but some of them were good. So, and this one was, I was sending quite a few around the place just to get feelers, like feedback from people. And everyone was like, that's the one.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay, cool. That's not what I was thinking, but there's another one that's going to come out next.
Yeah. Interesting.
That's
eh,
good. That
when
was-
other
yeah.
people think that you think
Yeah.
you know which one's best, and other
Yeah.
people say, "Oh, I like that one." You go, "Oh, okay, interesting."
I should play it for you. That should have been a good thing to do before we.
True, we could assess that.
Yeah.
Well, you can, if you want to link it to me, I can just add
It's a
it to
good
the
idea.
thing.
True.
Or like I could add it on later.
Yeah.
You could play it at the end or something if you want.
Yeah, it's good.
Because this won't actually come out till after you've released it on your
Then
own.
we might as well put it on. Yeah, that's
Yeah.
a good idea. It's like, it's cool, man. It's got real bass in it for the first time I've ever done that, because I always hated playing bass on my songs. I don't know why. I had a really weird thing about it. Could never get it sounding right, and I got that, and it's full of synths and drum samples.
So for that particular tune, you had a trouble putting a bass line on. Is that what you were saying?
Well, just like on any of my music.
Oh, right.
Because most of it was like either the fucking drums were like really poorly produced, or my mixes were shit, or it's just the songs were too synthy and we just didn't need a real bass. And so this had like a really, really obvious pop, like just structure.
Right to it, yeah.
And as soon as that was there, there was like groove to it, and I was like, holy fuck, I'm gonna
Yeah.
put bass on this.
Yeah.
And then since then, I've just been like kind of going at it a lot. But everyone was real stoked to hear some bass as well. I mean, for me, I was like, I didn't really care, but everyone else was like, all my friends were saying like, it's good to hear some fucking bass because you're a bloody bass player.
Bass player,
Like,
yeah.
why don't you fucking put some bass in your music?
Right. So you hadn't really done that
Never.
beforehand. Oh, that's
I've been
so
using like
interesting.
808s and like
Yeah.
sub basses and really
Yeah.
deep stuff.
Yeah.
Which is what I love a lot as well. But yeah, so that's cool. And I recorded it within like maybe a day and a half, 2 days, finished the whole thing, and I did the vocals in maybe like 30 minutes, I reckon. And it was just, I was actually halfway through it like, this is never going to come out. This is so fucking cliche and poppy, and everything about it was just like, I was laughing doing it. I was like in like hysterics because it was a joke. And then once I put it all together, I was like, oh my God, that's pretty good. So put it out.
Okay, man, that's sick. That's so interesting to hear the process sort of as you go through it and things that you realize about the track. And like 2 days sounds pretty quick, but it's a lot of time.
It is.
Like I remember when we were living together, watching you do what you do.
Yeah.
It was like the amount of takes like you do for someone that has the knack for coming up with vocals and can actually sing and play instruments, to be able to just really just keep going until you get it, and just that can be a really short period of time.
Yeah.
So it, like in the case of someone like you, it seems like when you have 2 whole days to commit to it, you can like make a track in that amount of time, you know?
Yeah.
But that's sick.
We should talk about that Kevin Dollars time, I think.
Fuck man, let's go.
I was thinking, because I was before we, like, I was like, what are we going to talk about? And I was like, I'd love to talk about that time in Dunedin and what was happening, and like our flat and stuff, and like how that was just like this massive hub.
Yeah.
Bawsy started painting there.
Bro,
like
that was the hub, eh? Fuck
what
yeah.
a shit heap, but it was great. I don't know. I enjoyed the like team spirit in it.
Shit, yeah.
Everyone kind of lives apart now and is like grown up a bit, and everyone's like away doing their own thing, which is sick. But there's that missing element of like 3 people working on the same thing.
Yeah, that's why I was so drawn to you guys in the first place when I sort of got introduced to you and sort of started really getting to be part of the group. I was like, fuck, everyone's here for each other, you know? It's not just like you're all thriving in your own way, but like you guys are that tight-knit that it's like, fuck, this is cool to be in a group of people all trying to achieve like the same goals.
Yeah. It's been interesting to see everyone kind of like execute it as well. And like how, like where people have started from and where they're like kind of at now.
Yeah, for sure.
I mean, you'd like Hames and stuff, and Damo especially, like those 2 dudes have just kind of kicked the fuck off.
Yeah.
And it's so cool. And it's so cool to watch as well, because I saw what you get to see. Like I was thinking the other day, like at Duke Street, and it would be like a Friday, and Damo's like hustling to like finish a song to put up on SoundCloud, and he'd do that every Friday for, or it might have been that, but like every Friday or whatever for a couple of weeks. And that just went and took him off like straight away. And whereas Haim was like, I remember Haim's old fucking, do you remember Haim's old songs? That he used to come around in this fucking carpet court fucking shit, and he'd be in it till like 9 o'clock.
Fuck yeah.
And he'd be making like beats and stuff, and I don't know. I think it was a pretty cool time.
Definitely.
And I
Having
think
that
we didn't get
studio
enough.
room.
It sounds so stupid to say, but we didn't get enough like credit for that, and never really have. No one's really gone, you guys are actually doing pretty cool stuff back in the day in Dunedin when no one else was doing it. Now everyone fucking makes beats in Dunedin.
But I think, definitely, man. I think one of the things that people missed about it, or people like, because I have an inside perspective on it all.
Yeah.
So, you know, we know, or you guys knew what you were about, right? And the only thing that other people are getting really is like the content side of it.
Yeah.
And I think these days, because people's like attention spans are so short and narrow, that it's sort of kind of normal if you don't really understand the process to just sort of see content come out from people that are supposed to be doing the things that they're doing.
Yeah.
Whereas when you're next to it or inside of it, you can see the hard work that goes in firsthand. Right. So you have this idea, or knowledge rather, of what it is.
Or what it means to people. And stuff.
Exactly, you know, like
Yeah.
that's hard to portray that in the content itself, you know. So I don't think it was like, definitely underrated, but I just don't know.
It wasn't there. Like the quality of the stuff we were doing was not there. And let me get that straight. It's like, I know that, but at the same time we were 3 or 4 white kids making trap music.
Yeah.
And
Yeah,
had
that was crazy.
personas and and we were making like emo trap when Lil Peep was
Yeah.
still not even like
Yeah.
anything.
Crazy.
And for us to like be on that, and especially in a place like Dunedin,
Shit, yeah.
and everyone was looking at us like, you're fucking crazy.
Yeah.
Like the amount of people that hated on my thing.
Yeah.
Like, cool, but I don't know. It's bullshit.
You're never going to get anywhere without those people there, you know?
No.
As long as you know what it is that you're doing, what you're about, and
Yeah.
if you get it, they'll eventually get it.
I was thinking the other day, I had this, I have this fucking memory burnt into my skull from back in those days. I won't name this person's name, but they were sitting outside a cafe and I was on my way to work or something like that. And I was walking past them and she gets her phone out and starts filming me as I walk past and was like pulling the finger at me and like,
No shit.
it was horrible. It was the most like anxious I've ever felt.
Whoa.
And it's the first time anyone's ever done that to me.
Wow, that's really blatant too.
Yeah, it was horrible.
Yeah.
I was like, fuck, man, I'm just making some funny music. Or
Yeah.
like, I don't know, like, give me a break.
Fuck.
Like, it was
That's
brutal.
intense.
And
Yeah.
I thought, okay, like, that's fine, you don't get it. But I think you're the one in the wrong that's not even just going like,
Man.
oh, yeah, fucking respect the hustle, man. Like, that's
Yeah.
cool.
They'd have to feel pretty passionately about something that
Yeah.
you're about or something that
Or
you've done
people
or said,
like
you know?
people would post on Instagram about me on like private Instagrams. Again, I won't name names because that's bullshit.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was bullshit. People would attack me and I didn't fucking do anything wrong. I was just making music and talking about doing drugs, I guess.
That's a strange thing, eh? I think a lot of perhaps what it'd have been about if I was to guess, because like that was something we never really thought about at the time, was like the content in the music. Like
Yeah.
a lot of it was really derived from those like American
Yeah.
trap songs. So
And what they were saying,
and, you
yeah.
know, it feels like to be part of that, you sort of say what they say.
Yeah,
and some
definitely.
people just took that way too literally. Like,
Totally.
you don't fucking do drugs.
You
It's
don't-
like,
yeah.
name all of the other people doing that genre that actually do this.
Yeah.
You know, there's so many people in America actually part of the trap scene that
Yeah.
don't like do the shit that they
Totally.
talk about. You know,
Yeah.
I think that's part of the genre is to
And
talk
that was
about things that you
that
don't
was
have.
us being a bit too far ahead because now people are doing that.
Mm.
There's lots of trap
Should be.
artists in New Zealand.
100%.
Not really anymore. A couple of years ago they were popping, but like
Yeah.
there's lots of them that were doing the same thing. And I honestly sat there and I thought, fuck you all, because like I was doing this and no one cared.
Yeah.
And yeah, maybe the quality was, maybe it was shit. I don't know, but it came from a place where like I was passionate about it, and now all these other people it's fine for people to lie about all their music, and it's fine for people to do drugs and
Yeah, man. It's,
fuck.
It's weird to be the first person to do something, you know. In a,
And
in
I
a place
wasn't.
that you
I
are,
wasn't
like-
the first person.
Oh
but
no,
in
no,
Dunedin,
yeah. But just
100%.
like generally speaking, like yeah, when you're the first in a collective or
Yeah.
first in a city to start doing something, it's. I think people just like to hate, you know.
Yeah.
People like to look at people and judge.
Yeah.
It's just one of those things that's just ingrained in us to look at other people that are doing something different. Like, it's so hard for a lot of the mainstream to sort of look at something that's abnormal
Yeah.
and really understand it. And that's why mainstream things are mainstream things, because it just takes that one person to sort of recognize and take it out of where it is and
Yeah.
expand it for then people to go, oh, okay.
Yeah.
Rather than actually looking at something on its own for what it is and what it means and where it comes from, and
Yeah.
actually like make your own opinion about it.
Yeah.
Because a lot of people just want to agree with the majority and are scared to sort of accept that sort of thing as well. So that's probably what it was, man. People just didn't know what the hell that scene
Or
was.
what to do with
and
it.
couldn't really appreciate it,
Yeah.
you know. It's just, and that's why it's so funny to talk about it now and look at all those
Yeah.
people that were talking shit,
Yeah.
liking that kind of music
Yeah.
now, you know. It's
Yeah,
just it's one
totally.
of those things you just have to, like, as tough as like that particular situation, as
Yeah.
tough as that shit is, and that is particularly like hard to deal with.
Yeah.
You just got to, again, like realize in yourself what it is that you're doing. The fact that you're still here doing it
Yeah.
is a fantastic
shows a
sign,
lot,
you know?
I guess.
Exactly, yeah. You don't want to be the guy that had a video of him and fingers being pulled out and then
And
never
quits.
made music again, you know? Like, that's the worst come-up story ever.
It's a good story
not
to
even
tell,
a
I
come-up
guess.
story.
That's what it
Yeah.
is now.
Yeah,
I don't really care. I know who that person is and I see them all the time and I think, fuck you.
yeah.
But fine, you know.
But you can't lash back, eh? Like
Hey?
you can't do anything back. Like
No.
that would just make it so much worse. You just have to take it in your stride. You wouldn't.
I remember I did one night. I was in, you might have been there. We're in Carousel, and this one person talking about that posted online, and I went up to her and said, don't, because she was like mentioning my name and taking the piss out. I don't know what, I can't remember now, but she like used my real name and was like taking it out of like the music thing and putting it on like personal. Like
Right.
it was, I'd say it was like cyberbullying, I guess. And they were like just taking the piss out of me, not Kevin Dollars.
Yeah.
Which is fine. You can do that. So I went up to her and I said, you just never mention my name ever again. Don't do that. That's bullshit.
Yeah.
And as I turned away, she started like pulling the fingers at me. And in that split second, I had this drink in my hand and I thought, fuck, I just tossed this out. And it made me feel so good.
Oh, man.
But I
That's
walked out and I
short-term,
left.
Short term,
Yeah.
like indulging.
I wish I did. Fuck it. I wish I did. Yeah. No, it's all right. That's all good. This is not a
It's in
pity
the
party,
past.
man. It was
No,
great
definitely
fun.
Not. Well, again, it's just the irony in it, and it's just the funny to think that, you know, people felt so strongly. Like if it was just a creative thing, if it was just about someone making music that was a bit different,
Yeah.
to have that feeling and to post something about someone else.
Yeah, who
is just
cares that
bizarre.
much?
Like, what is it?
Why
what
do
is
you
it your
care so
problem?
much?
Yeah.
That's why I've always wondered, like, people that are commenting like negative shit under people's like famous people's posts. Like, what are you trying to achieve?
Yeah.
Like, really? And are you just lying in bed like, oh, fuck this person?
Yeah.
Like, what is it?
But man, like if you think about it from their perspective, like if you're the person that like finds something negative about someone that's doing well, and you sort of elevate yourself because, like, you know, say everyone, you know, all, you know, the most popular artist in the world at the moment, like a Travis Scott or someone. If you found out some dirt on Travis Scott, wouldn't you want to be the guy
That released
released the dirt and like made people realize why they're a bad person? Because it brings them up too, you know. I feel like it's probably the same thing. It's like, oh, this guy's doing well for something that is weird and different.
Yeah.
What if I like expose him, you know, for whatever? It just
There must be like a huge thing when you're
it's
famous.
weird. It's weird to think that people just feel that strongly negatively towards people. Like I can understand if like that person is associated with something outside of music that has something to do with their own life or something that they've done that is worthy of them being like sort of, you know,
Deplatformed or whatever it is now these days. Yeah.
that whole
Yeah.
thing. You know,
Cancelled.
that's understandable. But just bashing someone because they make a kind of music and are a certain way, or, you know,
I think
because
just
of the
being
music, like,
different,
it's
and then
weird.
like just being different and knocking someone for that is wrong.
It's weird that we are so far ahead creatively, like where we are today, the amount of people that can be creative, we still have that
Yeah.
in us, you know. Or,
Well, it's
you
because
know,
it's
there's
online
still
and
people like that.
no one's responsible for what they say.
That's so true. You can do
That's
it
why you need to find those people.
basically
and talk to
behind
them.
someone's back. Yeah,
Yeah, totally.
definitely pull them aside. And
You need to say,
like,
"Hey, man,
I'm
I-
here now. Do you want to
yeah,
tell me those things?
what's
again?"
wrong?
Yeah,
Because I can guarantee you they won't.
yeah,
They won't say anything to your face. No, never.
yeah. I wonder if because of the internet, that sort of stuff has just sort of come to light, or whether there's always been this sort of thing, but now, like, because the fact now that you can talk about someone to a huge majority of people and address them, but not actually be around them,
Yeah.
is such a strange thing. And I wonder if, like, you know, people had sort of always felt that way, or now that there's more content coming out from all corners of the world,
Yeah.
whether there's more to just sort of get angry about, or whether, like, before the internet, you know, you were really kind of restricted in a way to the content that you could receive or be a part of, that you didn't really whine and moan about it.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Like, there's more sort of underground people being able to have a platform.
Yeah.
That there's more room for sort of arguments. Like, you wouldn't hear, you know, 15-year-old Billy's music that he puts out on Spotify, you know, 20 years ago,
No.
because that just doesn't get put onto those platforms.
Yeah.
and or played on the radio or anything. So you don't go, oh, this is terrible, because
Yeah.
it's radio worthy at that time. But now it's like there's so much more to critique.
Yeah.
It's a weird world we
Well,
live in.
dude, people make careers out of critiquing things. Like they live off it.
That's ironic. I
So,
find
I
that
mean,
a strange concept.
and they're not professional fucking music journalists or
No.
whatever. Like, and they make
It's-
huge amounts of money.
it's oh god, what's the word? It's what a, look at me, the podcast host, can't think of what he wants to say. Dude, what is the word I'm thinking of? Subjective.
Right.
It's all subjective. How can
Yeah.
you be a critic about something that is like personal taste?
Totally.
You know?
Of music is
It's so strange.
Specifically.
Yeah.
You can't judge that. And because one person's fucking, like, rap's a classic one, man. All the, like, boomers and shit are just, like, because they never either grew up with it, or it was just, like, never presented to them in a way that was relatable, or they're just so quick to just be like, yuck, disgusting.
Yeah.
Like, how could you say those things? And whereas, like, young kids these days, like, that's like the Bible. Travis Scott's fucking Astro World. So,
So stupid, man.
I don't know. You can't judge anything, really. Everything is subjective, right?
You can critique, like, I don't know. You can obviously look at how a song's structured and, like, I guess the procedure and I guess how it's actually been put together.
Yeah.
Like, you can critique like the quality of a track, but you can't critique like the feel or the message or the I don't know how to describe it. Just there's like the subjective part. It's like art. Like art is subjective. Someone might look at a painting and go, that means so much to me. Like I just resonate with that painting.
Yeah.
The other might look at it and go,
What
that's
is
just
that? What is
random
it?
paint on canvas. It's the same with music.
Yeah.
It's just like that might mean something. Like I have tons of shitty like underground crap stuff that I listen to, but
Yeah.
I like it because it has a warm sort of funny feeling about it.
Yeah,
you
it's
get that-
nostalgic.
Yeah, I don't know. There's an
remember when you
essence to
listened
it.
to it,
Yeah,
yeah.
exactly. And that's something that can't be critiqued. That's preference. Like you could obviously look at tracks and see how they've been recorded and the talent of the person playing a certain instrument if that's the genre. But yeah, it's a strange thing to think that people can
End
judge
of the
that.
day, like, who cares if people... That sounds really like hypocritical, about who cares what people think, because I was just going, poor me, fucking people hated on me once.
Yeah.
But who cares? Who gives a fuck, man? Like, do what you need to do, because no one's going to stop you now.
Yeah.
Really. You can do anything. Internet, man. And it's all, you can do like, music-wise, you can make anything you want. There's probably still stuff that we haven't heard, like genres that we still haven't heard yet.
Tons of stuff that hasn't been explored.
So, I mean, like, and who gives a fuck what people think, really? Because
You
I'd
just
say
have to
the
be
most
someone
popular
that-
thing is probably the most criticised as well. So,
100%.
fucking,
'Cause
what was his
there's more
old cowboy?
people
Country Boy Trap, what's his name?
Lil Nas.
Yeah, that one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Where's he
How
from?
did I forget his... Yeah, exactly. Shit. True.
2 tracks. And
Whoa.
Yeah.
Mate, he's probably made more than we'll ever make in our whole entire lifetime, 3 times over. So,
Yeah, well, that's the thing. Like, he'll be one of those artists that'll come back and you'll listen to it because he had that one. good
because he
track,
was
you know?
there. And
You
he'll
know-
never do it
You know
again.
who's someone who constantly makes music and it amazes me every time, and
Chris
I never
Brown?
see it come out. Oh, him too.
Yeah.
Chief Keef.
Is he still putting out music?
Honestly, every time I go into his Spotify
don't
page,
follow him.
there's like 3 new mixtapes out. It's like,
Mixtapes.
fuck yeah. It's usually never albums because you usually hear about an album,
Yeah.
but it's always just like, it's like the 6th mixtape in a line of this tape and then like this 12th one in the line of this tape. There's
No
just
way.
so much coming out, bro. It's crazy. Mixtapes just don't, like, if you're not following that artist, but
Yeah.
you know them, and you come into the Spotify, you go, fuck, like,
Where have I
how
been?
have I not heard about all of this music that they've put out, But
Yeah.
to be fair, it's usually pretty trash stuff. Like, a lot of mixtapes are really just like tons of filler, and it's just sometimes for just the sake of having
Yeah.
a project out. That's just my opinion in that case. But yeah, I mean, you can't listen to all of that and be like, that's just
Yeah.
quality stuff that's being put out, 'cause it's not. But it's just the fact that the music's been made and it's gotten to that.
Isn't that great
finished
that he could
thing.
just put out a fucking turd and it doesn't matter? And no one's like, oh no, he's done. Like,
Yeah.
there's no more Chief Keef. We're not going to listen to it. Like, it's like, fuck it. Keep
You
going, man.
You can't
Why
diss him
not?
because the work's there. Like,
yeah, he's
he
done
just
it.
doesn't stop. That's the thing about it. It's not necessarily like this dude is putting out the best music he can put out every time. It's like this dude has a fuckload of music.
Dude,
like he
Bones?
just does it.
You know Bones? Do you remember
Yeah,
Bones?
yeah.
He's still putting out fucking albums and huge albums. When I
Another
was
artist
listening to
I
him
don't
back in what was that street called? The Blue House, the Screaming Eagle.
Yeah,
thing.
yeah, on 4th Street.
Wherever 4th Street.
Yeah.
Holy shit, he had like a stupid amount of albums out then, probably like
Shit.
12.
Fuck.
And since then he hasn't stopped.
Jesus.
And it's crazy. I don't know how people
so
do
in a
that.
day. That's a lot to do.
And his music is actually quite quality, so it's kind of weird.
Man, that's crazy to think like
Yeah.
how much one musician can have in them to
Yeah.
constantly come up with content and lyrics.
You've got to
and
be a
beats and
different
stuff.
kind of. You're going to be on some different kind of buzz.
I can't even think up like one verse if I wanted to. I don't know how people think up like a whole album,
Exactly.
or multiple albums
that
like
makes
in the same
sense,
year, like.
and then it's some sort of
Jesus.
concept.
And then I think that's comes back to like, especially in trap music, I think that's how some artists can just constantly put out content, because it's like, right, what do I want to have?
Yeah,
You can just talk about that all the time, you know,
Yeah.
rather than go what I actually have and what I'm about. You can
Yeah.
be like, oh, well, this music's about this and this. So if
Yeah.
I talk about this and this, then it just sort of makes
Yeah.
the thing a whole. You know, you can just talk about a fancy car. You
Yeah.
can just talk about a car you like, or like
Mm.
the amount of money you want to have or do have,
Yeah.
or jewelry that you've got on, that sort of thing.
trap's an easy one to make. Because like
yeah.
it's fucking. You know those Genius videos, which is like
Beat breakdowns and stuff.
Oh my god, there's that Lil Pump one with what's his producer's name? Do you know
Smoke
him?
a Sack or
No, Lil Pump.
Lil Pump. Oh, sorry.
Fuck. He used to have red and black hair split down the middle. Should bring him up.
I feel like I know.
He made that
exactly who
Gucci
you're
Gang one, I'm
talking
pretty
about.
sure.
Oh, he produced some stuff for Little Peep too, though, didn't
Yes, yeah, he was in their group and then he got picked up by Pump.
he?
Big Head.
Big Head.
He did a fucking Genius video, and I hate the trap ones because I've watched about 2 of them because I know you already know it's hi hats, snare,
Yeah.
kick, and a fucking big 808
Yeah.
and some stupid piano fucking.
4 notes, just.
Oh my god! And people are making like so much money off this stuff.
Crazy, eh?
And then so I guess it's like about simplicity, but how far do you take that?
Yeah.
And is there actually any rules to it?
Yeah.
Obviously not. But
It's definitely easy to make, and you can look at that and go, "Oh my god! Like, how have these guys done so well off this?" But like, in particular, those beat breakdown videos. What I don't like about some of them is like, they're not actually showing you how they made the beat.
Yeah.
They just play like the hi hat, then they play the snare, and then
Yeah.
they play the melody. It's like,
yeah,
well, yeah, we knew that. Like,
we can hear it in the song.
where were you at the time? Like, how did you like play it again for us?
Yeah.
That's another thing with trap producers is that
Oh.
they don't actually know how to play anything they've made. They just
No.
they just play the keys like I'm guilty
Or they
of that.
fucking write
Just-
them in.
Yeah, exactly.
with it.
You
Okay.
can't actually play that back.
I have 2 things. I just hate
Go.
people who. Okay, so this one's a bit hypocritical because Damo's making me play with a pick on my bass now. Anyone who plays bass with a pick is just like kind of just a bit of a traitor, I reckon.
Oh, really?
And that's my only bass thing.
Think
Trap
it's
musicians. What was I just talking about? Fuck.
Bass picking,
And what was the other one for
Trap.
trap? What were we talking about?
just producing and structuring
Oh,
beat breakdowns,
dude.
Genius videos.
How did I just forget that? That's fucked. Don't even worry.
Oh, come on. Making bass.
Anyway, producers of trap.
Hypocritical. You didn't want to be hypocritical because you should use fingers on a bass, not pick them relative to the trap. You should be able to
See,
play
this
what
is the
you've
thing
instead of drawing
I hate
things
about
in.
trap music. Drawing things in.
Yeah.
You're going to cut that bit out, eh?
No, we'll
People
keep
who fucking draw things in production.
it. Yeah.
Like, I used to do that for a bit, and then I realized that you're no better than the 13-year-old that's sitting at home right now on Fruity Loops who's
Exactly.
just your average guy.
Your artist is your savior at that point.
Totally.
Yeah.
And the average dude would draw shit in because it's easy. Learn how to play it, and then learn how synths work and what they mean. And I'm not saying I'm the fucking boss of synths and fucking production and stuff, but you need to learn some sort of human feel to it.
Yeah.
Whether it's like, I'd say sampling's in that as well.
Definitely.
Sampling's counted in that.
That's a huge part of what feels good in production. Yeah.
And fuck knows how people do that. But like sampling off records and stuff.
Oh, that's insane.
Oh,
One of the best like beat making videos I've ever watched is the bro, you and I today thinking of people, it's just not happening, is it?
no, brain's not working. Isn't that
Wonder-
8-track guy that you used to talk about?
8-track? No.
He used to
not
make
me.
the beats on the...
Yeah, this is kind of who I'm thinking. Oh, fuck, what's his name?
What music did he make?
Okay, you know the Mass Appeal videos where they had they choose the 3 records?
Yes.
I feel like it's
Go look through them.
Wonder something.
Oh,
Fuck.
Wonder Boy or whatever it is.
No.
Wonder Girl?
Yeah, she's
Boy Wonder?
She's fucking crazy.
Boy Wonder's one of them.
Fuck, what's his name? Mass Appeal, fucking record beat videos. This is so unprofessional.
Fuck it.
Fuck, I would have liked the video too. I'm not going to fucking go through all my liked videos. Ninth
Rhythm
Wonder.
Roulette, Ninth Wonder, yeah.
Bro, this is the fucking dopest beat
Is it
making thing I've
sampling?
ever seen.
It is, eh?
Fuck, we'll just play it for you. Like,
Yeah.
just, I probably can't play the whole video. I don't know how copyright shit works, but fuck,
Is it going to go through this and people
Yeah.
can hear it?
Yeah.
All right, I see.
there's fuck, just. Jeez.
That's so cool.
He's got all the equipment.
Oh.
He makes the whole beat
Out of
the. Like, he makes the snare from a sound in it. Like, he makes the kick from something too. Like, it's wild. Just some of the grooves he gets from it. And he's fucking funny too.
Oh, that's such a nice groove. You can just hear the vinyl in it as
Yeah.
well. That's an incredible
That's so
texture.
Lo-fi. And just, he's so excited about
Yeah.
it. That's
Yeah, you
the
can
thing
see
I
him
love.
so-
He just goes, woo!
I love that kick.
Yeah, that's fucking nice, eh?
See, the thing is, bro, it's like, have you ever used Splice?
I've tried to,
Yeah. I use Splice quite a bit.
There's so
And
much on there. That's
I
the
know.
thing for me. It was
It's
like,
a lot.
God, what do I choose?
You can just get that now. Like, you can get that sampled kick and not have to work for it.
Yeah, right.
And I don't know how I feel about it. I use it quite a bit, and it's like such a good tool, and that's where I see it as. But it's also cutting out. Well, it's actually making their talent of sampling more like interesting and more like sought after, I guess, because
Yeah.
you'll be able to tell the difference.
Because I think in that case, yes, you can get that sampled kick, but the whole, and like you could get it sounding exactly the same
Yeah.
as someone that would go through that record and find their kick and sample it and
Yeah.
warp it and do whatever. But it's sort of, you just miss the whole point of what sampling is. You haven't sampled that kick.
No.
You've just got that kick, you know?
That's the actual true art form,
like
isn't it?
the whole feeling you will get from actually going through a record and picking bits out,
Yeah.
picking bits that you've heard and you liked,
Yeah.
not just something that is generically popular, but something that you've recognized within that song,
Yeah.
that you like the sound of and you've drawn that. It
Yeah.
makes it unique to you and you've constructed it in your way based on that record. That's what sampling is about. Like
Yeah.
getting the same sound to sound like something else is not sampling. Like if you
No.
just pick something because it sounds like what someone else has done, that's nothing at all. It's just like buying a beat kit and going for it,
Yeah.
which is fine in itself.
Yeah.
But it's not. It's just doesn't have that feel to
It's
it.
not
like
that.
I don't
That's
sample
class,
because
man.
I don't know how to do it well and don't
Yeah.
have the right equipment.
Yeah.
But if I had like what that dude's got and I can play the record and record it and take
Yeah.
those bits straight away, fuck yeah, I'd get into that.
Yeah.
But just it's time. Like my attention span is very short, so
Yeah.
I just want to be able to get a beat out
Same.
quickly. But that's totally lost that whole organic side of making a beat and just
Yeah. But those guys get theirs. They get
Yeah.
what they deserve, you know?
yeah, shit, yeah. And I think those guys, like in particular Ninth Wonder and like producers from the 90s and like the RZA.
Yeah.
Too. I was listening to the RZA talk about him, like the start of Wu-Tang
Right.
and all of that. And
I don't really know much
he-
about that.
Well, nor do
Yeah.
I really, and sort of learned a wee bit from him. But like the reason that that music is just like timeless and so organic and just good is because it is like the RZA had to like didn't have a job, like lived on the not on the streets, but in a very poor household.
Yeah.
Could not afford to go out and get like a drum machine.
Yeah.
So basically like, bought socks from uptown, went downtown and sold them for double the cost, and then saved up so he could go and buy a drum pad. And just learnt how to do it he got like a second-hand one. It had no instructions or anything.
Yeah.
And so him learning how to make beats was just like having this random box in front of him and
Be
going,
like,
okay, this does this does this. That's the truest way to like discover music. Like that's just such a cool story. Obviously he talks about it if people listening want to listen, it's the Joe Rogan podcast with him and Donnell Rawlings. It's super interesting, man. He's such an interesting guy. And he talks all about the come up and like how he thought up the name and that sort of stuff. But I just love that fact that he just what he knew so organically and with such like
there's a
want
story
to go
behind
do
it. And that whole thing about even the socks, man, like that's
so funny.
That's something that is now lost. Because now
you're never gonna really
Mum
have to
bought
do
me
that.
a computer for Christmas, and now I have Fruity Loops.
Yeah, exactly.
And just made a
And
beat
you can
for
get
fucking
like the Cash App or whatever, and get like invest in stuff, and just get random loans and shit from places. Like you can get money these days if you want to get money.
Yeah.
And that might be coming from a privileged standpoint, but
yeah,
like
it is. Fuck yeah, it is.
But that's so true. That actually sounds really arrogant. But like I think I'll say these days, there's definitely more ways in which you can get money or apply to get money. You know? But in those days, it was really just like, fuck, I have to think of something.
Yeah.
I have to think of a way to get money. And that was to make your own market of socks and clothing and shit to sell it to other
so
people. That need
crazy.
them, which was a cool act in itself, like selling those things to people that needed them. They couldn't go up and get them from wherever they needed to.
Oh, right. Okay.
Yeah. I think that's kind of what it was. But yeah, he obviously explains it better. But that's just hearing the origin stories about people that are that successful just kind of makes sense. Like you don't really hear about people that are like super successful people coming from a story of just like, I had everything I wanted growing up, and I wanted to start doing music, and I did it, and here I am, and it's great, and I will go, everything's well. There's always some tragic aspect to something, Not always, of course, but like typically the ones that have done well, there's some come up of some kind,
Yeah, well, it all plays into the whole story, And I was listening to a podcast the other day, and they were talking about it. Like, do you need that? Do you need pain and suffering,
bro? This is something I've been thinking about a lot recently, and I think it's really interesting, and I've kind of been asking everyone here that comes on here about it. But how do you feel about that? Like, how do you think, I guess, art is perceived from someone that sort of doesn't come from any sort of struggle or anything, like something that just comes freely, as opposed to someone that has made art based on like hard experiences or tough times or whatever?
Right.
You know?
Well, I don't know. I can only speak for myself and people around me. I'm not from a privileged background, but I'm also not from a place where it was all doom and gloom and like never really had money growing up or anything. Like, and that was, and like single mother kind of thing. And that's fine. I was raised fine and everything, but that's not tragedy, pain, or suffering.
Right.
Tragedy, pain, and suffering is like no parents, or you have parents who are like suffering in their own way, who then pass that on down to you.
Right.
And you're just brought up in this place of just like almost misery. But what role does music play in that? Honestly. And yeah, you could paint, I reckon you could paint that and you can sing it. You can't, well, actually, yeah. You can hear pain in like guitar, I guess. There's certain things you can't hear it in, or it's not necessary. I think you'll find a lot of people, like some of the biggest artists right now, are not from pain or suffering. Fucking Billie Eilish seems like she's had a pretty nice life. Drake's been popular since he was 15 or 16 or whatever.
That's so true.
He's never really suffered, I don't think. And
that's true.
And to say that those people suffered, if he was to come out and go, I suffered so bad, like I had such a bad upbringing. Maybe he did. I don't know. I don't really know much about that, but
I mean, his sort of status is probably not going to make much
It
difference.
doesn't. Yeah, I don't know. I don't
But
think
that's
you
the thing, though.
look,
It's probably elevate him even more, you know. Which is
Do you need it
question.
at the rate that especially music is coming out? Do you need pain and suffering because the song is probably going to disappear within the next week?
I mean, I don't think it's a question of whether you need to have that. I think it's more of a question of does it make for like a true. I think it's still art in its own way, but does it have that sort of like, oh God, how do you even describe it? You
That
know?
like rawness to it and
Yeah.
like proper deep meaning
It
of like
stems
this
from
is
it, you know?
this is everything you've got.
Yeah, like rather than just making a song because you've known how to play guitar since you're a
Yeah.
kid. Like, not that that's. Oh yes,
This is
probably
the thing, you
explaining
don't
it,
wanna- yeah.
It's such an interesting conversation because, like me personally, same story really. Like, never had any
Yeah.
problems with my upbringing. I've never gone through any like real hard times
Yeah.
compared to what people typically go through in this
Yeah.
sort of discussion. And so I question that a lot about my art. I think what does this really mean aside from me just liking to paint? And
Yeah.
I don't, invalidate myself because of that fact, but it's like, I feel like the artist that I like or the art that I really enjoy does come from, and it's weird to think that would you actually perceive the work in the same way, art, music, anything,
Yeah.
if you didn't know that fact
So I
about
was just
it?
going to say,
you know?
if it was a blind test, you didn't know
Yeah.
anything about the person, would you be able to tell if there was pain and
Yeah.
suffering in the
It's
voice
interesting, eh?
or the paintbrush? Like it's really,
I think you only would be able to tell, like in music, when there's lyrics involved. If someone was blatantly talking about an experience that they've had, you'd be
Yes.
like, "Oh Jesus, they've
That's
obviously
a lot,
gone through
yeah.
something." But yeah, something that's visual or purely sort of like an instrumental style of music. Yeah, how do you?
I feel
sort
like
of weed out
instruments,
those
I mean,
bits?
like listening to like, if you're listening to blues or something like that with guitar, you can hear pain in that. And I mean, that music was brought up on like
Blues.
African American, like, you
Yeah,
know,
yeah.
that was their style of music. Stemming from like slavery days and stuff like that. So there's pain in that, and you can hear that through who was like B.B. King and things like that.
Yeah.
I don't really know much about that topic, so I'm not going to go too deep
Nor
into
do I.
it. But you can hear pain in it, but is it necessary? Can you, I don't know. I think it makes for a good story.
Yeah, definitely.
And
it adds
music
to the
and art
for sure.
have their own little industry of talking about people's backstories and have since the day, record labels and stuff started becoming like massive big things.
Yeah.
It's
For sure. And I think there's a sort of sad or dark association that comes with those forms. It's typically something that is within that theme, darker or sadder, or, that sort of atmosphere to it, whatever it is. So, like, someone that wants to make that kind of art, like myself, for example, I don't think my art is typically like happy and joyful.
right.
But why? Why do I feel that way about the way that I want to
Yeah.
paint? And that could mean for anyone. Like there's a theme, an aesthetic, or something that people like about that sort of style of art and music. But is that just sort of playing into that side of things, or it's like you're actually sort of imitating art that has gone through that?
Yeah.
It's just fucking, man, you can
Oof.
get real deep with it,
How do you so like let's say you've got your fucking canvas set up, and this is probably going to be the same general answer if you're
Yeah.
going to ask me the same thing, but how do you start, and what is starting, and do you stand there and go, I've seen this is my inspiration for this piece, or I'm feeling this, or this is my style, or do you just do it? Do you like kind of step back consciously and just do it, or do you just
I think I'm pretty literal when it comes to
Right.
painting. So I start by literally just putting the brush on the canvas. Like I'm not going, right, this is going to be a guy here and he's in this environment, he's doing this. I literally just pick up a color that I like and I just start like painting. It's usually nothing.
Yeah.
And it's usually not until I've got the whole sort of thing covered that I will start to see an image that I like and work around that.
Yeah.
There's no forethought going into it. I'm not like...
That's great.
Sometimes there is. Sometimes I know like a color scheme that I want to apply, and we'll just have those colors on the palette, but I don't know what it is that I'm painting. So it is quite literal in the fact that I literally just start putting paint on the canvas.
So what happens if
no
nothing
process.
appears? Or is that not possible?
No, that happens. I mean, I definitely get frustrated. Like there might be something, like it might just turn out mush and I just go, oh, pff. But the beauty of oil paints is that they stay wet for that period of time that I'm painting. So if it really is that bad and I'm like, oh God, like I need a fresh start, I can just wipe it off.
Oh, you wipe it off?
Yeah, because the paint's all still wet. So I can just, like, if I wanted to, I could just wipe it all off and at least get like a grey sort of canvas to start with again. So I could really start fresh. Whereas acrylics, I'd have to paint over it again to start fresh. So, yeah, I mean, there's definitely points where, like, I've taken it too far. Like, I've gotten to a place where I really like with it, but added too much. And then gone, oh, Jesus, I don't want to get rid of it all because I still like what I had before, but now I fucked it up. That's probably the only sort of struggles I've had with the process itself.
Have you ever fucked something up and then tried to repaint it on a different...
No.
Just
I feel like...
Doesn't matter that much?
The part of painting that I like the most is that I don't know what I'm going to paint at the time, and it's usually just based on that moment, to sound real cheesy, but you know, it is just what I'm painting at the time and the colours that I feel like using at the time. So to try and replicate that just doesn't really make sense, you know. I mean, there definitely might be a concept that I want to try and achieve again, but I'll never try and do the same painting again, you know. Yeah. Like I typically have the idea of like a black background with some sort of dark figure involved. Yeah. And so that's a sort of a constant theme I come back to. Yeah. But I'll never try and go, oh, I liked how that was there and I liked how that person was in that shape. I'll never try and do that again because I'll just end up even more frustrated than the first time because I'll have that image already there. Trying to do it again. And it's just not going to happen. So I don't bother myself with that because I know I'm reasonably short-tempered when it comes to that sort of stuff. So I just step back and go, right, maybe tomorrow.
It's the same. Like, the second something's not working, shut the computer off and walk the fuck away.
I get
the fuck out of there, man.
Absolutely.
Like, why are you trying to polish a turd? Like, what's the point? If you're not into it, if there's a second of doubt, get out.
You have to realize the good days and bad days.
It's great.
You heard it here first. Kevin In Luv. In doubt, get out.
Like, what's the point in, like, how many paintings do you reckon you've made? Roughly.
If I were to ballpark it, it'd be somewhere between 50 and 75, I would
Shit,
guess.
Man.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
That's over almost 2 years.
I looked in, this is a fucking cool thing about iPhones. So I do all my lyrics on Notes.
Yeah.
And I have, 4 songs out maybe. And I have 233 songs written like that.
That's crazy.
Isn't that fucked?
Jeez.
And that's from the time that we started.
Holy shit.
Yeah.
You just haven't ever deleted anything?
Not there. I don't want to get rid of them because that's interesting. I'd love to go back one day and look at the bottom and go,
you'll go back one day and you'll look at one and go, you'll go, shit, that was really bad. Like, that's really just corny stuff now. Yeah. And then there might be one that'd be like, damn, I was really on some shit at that time, you know?
Maybe.
I've done that with, what did I do that with recently? I think I was just stupidly and selfishly just going through my own Instagram the other day. And I looked at a photo that I posted from like 2014. I was like, fuck.
That's pretty cool.
I knew the fuck what I was doing now. Or like, you know, that is still like something that I appreciate now. And it's like, man, sometimes you're just more ahead of yourself than you think you are, you know?
Yeah, totally.
There's definitely like points in your life you look back, you go, oh my God, that's so embarrassing or such and such. But then you go, man, I was on that at this time. Yeah. You know, it's easy to look past stuff that you've achieved and when you've achieved them though. And I think as we're getting older and like in the midst of our 20s, you know, it sort of does just sort of become all mushed in a way.
Yeah.
You know, you forget the spread of where you've started something and
Definitely.
where you've sort of come into it. Like, there's stuff that I've forgotten that I did at this time. I was like, oh my God, that was only this long, or that was that long ago.
Yeah.
You know, it all just starts to sort of mush and you sort of forget time periods
Yeah.
and things. But
We have this thing
surprise yourself.
between me, Damo, and Bawsy. We'll have this thing every year on Facebook, you know, like the memories kind of thing.
Mm.
And there's this night that Haim went to Queenstown with a bunch of people, and it was just me, Bawsy, and Damo in the flat, in our first year flat. And Damo comes around one day, it's like, fuck man, like we're gonna make fucking Mike Posner, like Justin Bieber, like we're gonna make pop music and shit. And we come around the night and we just get like really blazed, really drunk, and made this song called 48 Hours.
Yeah,
You know the
dude.
one? And
The
every
song.
year it fucking pops up on Facebook. I'm like, oh my God, it was that night.
Fuck yeah.
And
That was
that's
like
how
the
this whole
first-
thing
first
fucking
song of yours,
started,
isn't it?
man.
Yeah.
But that's always
Let's
like
take
a
it
nice
back.
memory is to go like,
Yeah.
oh man, that
Shit,
happened.
This is where we come from.
And that was that. And I can go from that song to where we all
Okay.
are now and how that stemmed off. It was pretty
That's
cool.
sick. Fuck yeah, man.
Pretty cool we point.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. That's weird. That's crazy. I completely forgot about all those songs.
Oh,
man.
there's some disgusting
day.
shit in there, man.
Fuck. Yeah.
Someone's got them. I don't know who, but
Oh,
not
yeah.
me.
They're so interesting to look back on, eh?
Yeah.
Fuck. Oh. Look, Kevin, it's a decent wee chat we've had.
That was.
Hour 45
Whew.
ish. I'll probably be less than that for you guys listening. There's a wee bit to cut out there. Oh, well. Your track tomorrow, is that coming out everywhere?
It'll be on, everything. Maybe not YouTube. I don't know yet. We'll see. But maybe that'll be
Haven't
later
seen
on
a
the day.
vid.
There's no video,
Oh.
but there is. Riley's been cooking up something in the
True.
mix, so you'll see that tomorrow morning.
Sick.
Or you would have seen it by now. So,
Yeah. Fuck yeah. Yeah, I'm not sure when this will come out.
Yeah.
But it'll be after the song's released. So
Cool.
what if you're happy for me to, we can chuck the song at the end
let's
of this if you
fucking
like.
play it, man.
Do you want to play it right now?
Do you want to play it now?
Yeah, if you want to.
Yeah,
well, that's
why not?
probably easier actually.
Yeah, okay, let's just do that.
If you send me the file,
I can do that.
then
Can I like
just play it.
Google Drive it to you or something?
Yep, that works. Let's do a quick wrap up. I appreciate you coming on. So again, tell the people where they can find the track.
Dangerous will be out on Spotify on 25th of September. Well, you guys will have it already, but don't make any fucking TikToks to it. I'll come find you.
No, they
If that's
definitely
fucking
will be.
possible, if anyone does that, you're done for.
I'm gonna make a TikTok account just for
Fucking
that.
do that, man. We're not going down that route.
You realize you've just opened the whole cesspool for people to start doing TikToks because you've told them
Fuck
not
you,
to.
I'm gonna make TikToks, man. Have you heard anything about this? No one's played this to you or anything?
I've just heard the wee snippet that you've,
Oh, right,
that
cool.
you've done.
Okay, this
Cool.
is sick.
Yeah. All right. So this is the first for the 9016. Here's a semi-exclusive look at the first new single from Kevin In Luv. You guys may have heard this since it's been released, and I'm not sure when I'm going to have this out by, full disclosure. But here is the brand new track. What is it called again, Kevin?
Dangerous.
Dangerous by Kevin In Luv.
This time I'll fight the urge to stop me speaking. Last night I met with you, I spilled my secrets. One time I fell in love in just a weekend. Tonight won't be any different. Your love is like a drug, and I just can't give it up. No, my passion's endless, girl. You're so dangerous. I'll pass out on your love. Too close and I'll be gone. Yeah, I know that you're the one, girl. You're so dangerous. So dangerous. My time, I watch my back. You're always there. I'm scared to talk. All my friends don't trust you. You're so dangerous, and I can't tell what you're planning now. This love, ooh, is heating up. In the past, I've been generous. You're just dangerous. I'm so scared to love. Your love is like a drug, and I just can't give it up. No, my passion's endless, girl. You're so dangerous. I'll pass out you're so dangerous. I'll pass out on your love. 2 puffs and I'll be gone, yeah. I know that you're the one, girl. You're so dangerous. So dangerous. So dangerous.